My path is a path of a yogi. I don't have a specific religion. If anything, it's this earth and the divine that is the source of all this goodness. I'm only saying that.
Hang on a second. How do you define the path of a yogi as you define it?
Okay, well, that's a whole nother journey.
All right, then let's come back.
I will come back to that because
Okay.
the reason I just mentioned all this is just because, you know that Valley of the Shadow of Death verse?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. This dark night of the soul is that, you know, and I remember the passage was coming to me, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And I don't know why, that was just kind of just coming back to me again and again. And it was like, what is that? What is that? I need that. What is that? I'm looking for that. And because I was in that shadow and in that dark night. And it forced me to dig deeper than I've ever had to.
What is the big that?
The big that is a space so deep within our hearts, and I don't think we can get there. Actually, I don't want to say that. I think you can get there just through joy and just through bliss and just through pure devotion and love. That wasn't my journey. My journey is more of like this, I'm not calling myself a shaman here, but more of a shamanic journey where you have to go through these shamanic deaths, like big deaths, and then you're reborn. And, you know, like the wounded healer. I kind of fit into that category.
Yeah, hello.
You know? And it's all right. It's what I came here for. And I believe that we all come to this body, our bodies, into this planet for a reason. And when I was in that dark, dark place, it became very clear to me, I don't want to miss my purpose. And I thought I was clear about that already.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was still clinging on to, yes, I don't want to miss my purpose, and I'm totally devoted, and I'm going to I want the truth, and I want to dig deep within, and can I still have that fairy tale story over there? I still want the big love. I still want can we still make everything nice?
That's a good indicator of where you are, isn't it, if you're still holding on to that?
The night before I met my husband was pretty mystical. I was in Bali, and I'd been there for a month, and I'd been told by someone that I was going to meet someone there who was going to be really special. It was going to be like lightning. That's exactly what the words were. And the month went by, and I'm like, where is this guy? I'm supposed to meet this guy, yeah? And so the night before I meet him, which is the last night before my last full day, there's a lightning storm. So I walk out to the rice paddies, and there's lightning on both sides of the sky, and big masculine bolts, and then these really fine feminine bolts, and they're just like opposite of each other. And I start calling down love, and I'm doing qigong, and I'm harnessing the energy, and I'm like, love, I just want to dedicate myself to love. I don't need anything else. I put everything, all my beliefs, all of everything I want, everything I think I need, I'm putting it on the altar. So there was my ceremony. The next day I met him, and it's very interesting because I thought that was the love that I was being given. And you know what? It wasn't not that. That relationship is the biggest gift I've ever been given because it brought me to my knees and then some. And maybe when we're talking about putting everything on the altar, the Sara that existed last year or on the morning of January 11th doesn't exist anymore. The Sara that sits here now is a new woman. So there's a big rebirth that's happened this year, and I feel like a rebirth isn't something that necessarily even happens in a moment. There are those key moments where we feel it, but it's a process, and I'm in process right now, and I love it. I love it. I'm so deeply grateful. I've never experienced pain like that. I've never experienced suffering, just pure suffering like I did this year. Not being able to sleep, like not being able to sleep, not being able to eat all night, waking up just tormented, nightmares, like really hard, right?
And what is the gift of that suffering?
The gift of that is that I put down the Sara who thinks she can fix something, the Sara who thinks she has the power to make her life in any particular way. And we were talking about this earlier, how, but wait a second, I learned that I can create a beautiful life for myself. Am I supposed to just chuck that and just be a limp, I don't know, just a limp little piece of, I don't know, hanging out on the, you know what I mean? This isn't about that. Surrender is not about giving up and giving away your power. I think when we really surrender, and I surrender this whole idea of Sara and everything she thinks she is and was and could be and would be and will be, I am able now to tap into something far greater than Sara, far more wise, far more connected with the divine. Like I'm able to reconnect with that divine aspect of my being that is very sure, very steady, very able. And it doesn't mean I don't have things come up, but I'll tell you what, they're burning out, and they're burning out fast.
So you move through things quicker.
Very
Yeah.
quickly. And what I'm noticing is nothing happens in a vacuum. I'm not doing this alone. You're going through this. My closest friends are going through this. We're all going through this. We're all going through this right now. It looks different on the outside for each one of us. For some of us, it's like we're having to let go of the career that was the big thing that sustained us, and which attached to that career is a lot of money, right? So for some of us, it's that. For some of us, it's a relationship. And it's not, and to be clear, this isn't like, oh, I lost a relationship. Isn't that sad? I guess I'll get another relationship. No, this is the loss of a lifetime of hope. Yeah?
Yeah.
Of dreams. So what I'm saying here, I guess, is I'm putting down my hopes and dreams because I'm getting into the real now, baby. So I got to play in this paradigm where I can create my dreams, I can live my dreams, I can call in energy that's going to be sweeter. I had to learn first that I could even think happy thoughts before I could feel happy thoughts, right? When you grow up in so much pain, you can't even fathom what a happy life looks like. When I went out on my own, I was 17, and the day I went out on my own, I said, I want to be happy. I want to know what happiness is. I don't know what that means. And I honestly didn't have anyone in my life at the time that I could see that was genuinely happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know anyone. I don't have one person that's been able to model this for me, but I want this.
Yeah.
This is very foundational, fundamental stuff, right? And so then we have to learn, and it's baby step, baby food, baby step, and we hit some sweet plateaus, and we have openings, we have heart openings, we have consciousness openings, you know? We learn about our connectedness with other beings, and we start attracting really beautiful, loving beings, and situations. And like the yoga studio, I mean, this practically fell into my lap, and I was just receptive and saying yes. But I put a lot of energy into it, but it wasn't work. It was just pure love. Yeah, a lot of energy, sun up to sun down, but it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I learned so much about relationship, about myself, about just existence, and all of that was burned in the fire this year.
So you're clearly a strong woman. You're a smart woman. You're a woman who has done a lot of seeking.
Yeah.
What is someone who doesn't feel they have your strength? How do they feel they stand to get through something like this? They can look at you and go, well, you're strong, Sarah. I don't feel that strong.
You know, it's interesting. While I was going through this, I would think about that. I would think about what would someone in my shoes do, someone in this situation do, if they didn't have like this crazy strength that I've had to have to survive, yeah? What would they do if they were more dependent on this person financially? Or if their communities were more, enmeshed, yeah? Because we were living on different continents. So just with the content of what was happening with the separation, I'm like, this would be really hard. I want to help those people. Yeah, what would they do? But this isn't about me helping people, though I love to be of service. I want to be of service in the highest possible way, because I believe that's what we're all here for. But to your question, this heart is the same heart. Beneath that heart is the same source. We all actually have access to that strength that you're perceiving in me, and sure that I've experienced and felt, and you've felt in yourself as well.
At times.
Yeah, I know. I didn't feel strong this year. I mean, I could barely get off the sofa.
So that's interesting. So the strength that we're getting from you right now isn't the strength that you felt when you were going through this.
No, this was the most vulnerable, crushing, utterly powerless experience of my life. Like, I felt utterly destroyed. I don't know how I stayed alive, I have a beautiful community that I love, and I love this planet. I love this planet, so, and deep inside, I know that I wasn't put here to suffer. And I knew on some tiny, tiny, tiny level there was a purpose for this. But honestly, it's really hard to see. So I think for all of us, like, we may see someone else and be like, oh, they're so strong. Yeah, we're all made of the same stuff. We're all being invited to look within. I mean, this is my perception, right? This is just my perception, but I think we're all being invited when we're going through these difficult periods to look within. Not look to the next teacher, not even to the next teaching. It's not that we don't fill up with support, and it's not that, we don't do our practice, if that's speaking to us.
Well, yeah, and when you're hurting, you're looking for something to feel better, so maybe you are looking for a teacher.
Upon leaving my husband, I left Berlin and I flew straight to Portugal, where my spiritual teacher was and has an ashram. And I was there for about a week. By the end of the week, some things came to light, and I realized I had to go.
Well, you had shifted enough that was no longer accurate for you.
Yeah.
And that's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that the trauma with your marriage dissolving opened your eyes maybe more?
Opened my eyes.
In a way?
Yeah. What happened in that relationship didn't happen all in one moment, right? Things had led up to it, but there are certain things that we're faced with in life that just seem so overwhelmingly insurmountable, just like too big, too bad, too ugly. I don't want to look at that. It can't be real. Yeah. That we want to give someone the benefit of the doubt. We want to believe that we're just imagining this, or
there's so much good over here.
Yeah.
This has to be something I'm not perceiving correctly.
Yes, it's got to be a mistake. It's got to be a mistake. And so I was going through a process for 1.5 years before I finally was like, this is not a mistake. You need to go now. And I could see really clearly. But within that time, I was reaching out. All the tools that I had used before weren't really working, and that's when I found this teacher online. He's got a lot of YouTube videos, yeah? I'm like, oh, this is the answer. But just immediately, I projected all of my power onto this other being.
Okay, this is key. This is key. So when we hurt, is there a temptation, is there a tendency to project, to somehow get out here so it doesn't hurt?
Like, so if I don't feel strong enough, well, I'll put you on a pedestal. We do this with our partners. We do this with our friends. Certainly with spiritual teachers we do this. You put anyone on a pedestal, they're going to fall. They're just going to fall. You put someone on a pedestal, you're giving them your power. Christ said, you are the light of the world. He didn't say, I'm the light of the world. He said many things like that, but really, when he was speaking to his people, he said, you are the light of the world. Mm-hmm. Go into your heart, yeah? Receive me into your heart. And it's this consciousness and it's this light in our hearts. I believe that, I don't know, it's really funny that I'm mentioning Christ, because it's not like I typically...
Well, but you had an upbringing in that world, as did I, that we both were mavericks and said, but I have a lot of questions around this. This isn't really a fit for me the way you're telling me about it.